Controlling the movement of infected or high-risk cattle and deer is one of the main ways we can help stop the spread of bovine TB. In areas where the risk of TB infection is particularly high due to the likelihood of infected wildlife coming into contact with farm cattle and deer, movement control areas have been put in place. This is a key step used to manage TB in New Zealand as it protects the rest of the industry from this disease spreading from farm to farm. Cattle and deer herds that have been found with TB through TB testing or slaughter at a slaughter premise are also placed on movement restrictions. This section will look at the movement control requirements in a movement control area and movement requirements and the process used to manage a TB infected herd. In movement control areas, it is a requirement for farmers to test cattle or deer that are older than 90 days prior to leaving the farm. A clear test must be completed within 60 days prior to the movement of these animals. If there is a positive skin test result on an individual or multiple animals, a secondary blood test is most often completed to either gather more information on whether the animal is likely to have contracted TB or the reaction is due to other factors. This all takes time, so farmers in movement control areas are encouraged to get their testing completed early in case additional testing is required. For more information on how TB testing is monitored on farm, please view Module 1. There are 3 potential sources of TB infection to cattle and deer herds. Contact with an infected wild animal, such as a possum or ferret. An infected animal or group of animals have been moved into a herd, or residual disease in the herd which was not discovered last time the herd was tested. When a herd is diagnosed with TB infection, this often is very stressful to the farm owners and people that are involved with the herd. This is a result of financial implications and constraints on farming management, alongside the emotional impact of knowing some animals will require to be slaughtered. Unfortunately, TB in a cattle or deer herd can also have a social stigma attached to it, as it is sometimes assumed that TB has appeared on the property through poor farm management. Through education and awareness, this stigma is slowly being reduced. The simple fact is that most TB-infected cases occur through no fault of the herd owner. Most herds are highly productive and well managed. The owners have met their TB obligations and assessed the TB risk to their herd and businesses before purchasing stock. Support networks and communication programs are set up for people associated with TB-infected herds to assist them through this difficult time. Once a herd has been confirmed with TB, an OSPRI veterinarian visits the herd owners to start the TB investigation process. Whilst the herd has a TB-infected status, a restricted place notice is put on the property, legally notifying the herd owner that no movements other than to slaughter or strict grazing conditions are allowed under the Biosecurity Act. During the first few months of being an infected herd, key details or actions are identified, including identifying and tracing cattle or deer movements from the herd, testing of animals which have moved out of the herd over the past 12 to 24 months, determine if there is a wildlife TB issue on or in the surrounding area, and if there is a need for increased possum control in the area. Once all of this is known, a plan is put in place to find and eliminate any additional TB-infected animals within the herd. During this time, the whole herd will be TB tested using the skin test method. Occasionally, this is also followed by blood testing of some or all of the herd to find potentially TB-infected animals which haven't reacted to the primary skin test. If a TB reactor is found through the skin or blood test, the animal is then slaughtered for inspection at a registered meat processing plant, or sometimes an on-farm slaughter, and inspection is carried out by a trained professional. To move from a TB-infected status to a clear status, a herd must achieve 2 clear whole herd tests with a minimum of 6 months between tests, with additional blood testing on the skin test negatives being carried out in the majority of cases. Individual animal identification of animals in the herd is also recorded in the NATE program to monitor animal movements after the herd has regained a clear TB status. Can you answer the following? Why are there movement restrictions for infected herds and herds that are in the high risk areas? What are the implications to infected herd owners when being placed on movement control? How many days prior to a movement must an animal in a movement control area be tested for TB?